And we're live. Hey, Frankie.
Mike. How you been?
But this is actually the first time I think we've ever started on time. So congratulations, my
Yeah,
man.
well, comics. I was when I was on the road. The booker would say, "Show starts at 8:30." So you get there about quarter to nine. Show hadn't started. No, the show doesn't start till 9. They always told the comics a half an hour early because comics are perennially late.
That is smart. I do the same thing with my wife. I'm like, we got to be there. We got to leave in 20 minutes. And I know we got to leave in 40, but at least we'll get there on time. I hate being late. And I think it comes from being disabled because do you know how hard it is to get on time when you use a cane and you
Oh yeah.
have accessible parking? It's awful. So, wah, wah, wah. I'm excited to have this. This chair squeaks a lot, man. It's awful. I gotta change this shit out. Sasha loves this.
You're in your new place.
I am in my new place. Ooh, so before you signed on, Sasha was. I said something. I told him how you failed at suicide in your failure, and then he was like, he goes he didn't know whether to laugh or something, so he goes, "Ooh, a bobcat!" Like or a coyote. He goes, "Ooh, a coyote." Let me show you what my outside looks like. This is from my bedroom window.
Oh,
I live
wow.
I live off a nature preserve. It's growing. It's being from New York. I never thought I would love this. I'm fucking loving this. This is awesome.
I didn't know there were places in New Jersey that look like that near Rahway.
I know. All I knew about Rahway was there was a prison, and now I see nature.
Oh
There's
my
like
God.
a there's like a animal with a nest on the other side of the river.
Oh.
So anyway, back to our. I'm excited to have this next guest. He is someone I've known for 20 years because just saying that makes me feel old. You know, my birthday's in 2 days.
And
Um,
how old will we be?
we will be old. We'll be 45. I think I've surpassed middle age. I don't think I'm gonna live to be 90. I If we're taking bets, I'm gonna say 88 or 86. 86 to 88. That's my you know.
Yeah, I caught myself using the word middle age when I was in my mid 50s, and I did the math. I'm like, oh, wow, 110? No, I don't think so.
You got goals, life goals.
That's right. I'll be 65 in November, Mike. So you,
God bless you. You don't look a day over 80.
thanks, Mike.
I'm this is the worst introduction I've ever done. I could see Sasha cracking up in the green room or the waiting room. It's not. I don't know what to call it. Anyway, my next guest is someone I've known for about 20 years. He is super funny, super tall. Like you can't tell this from him sitting down, but like I think he clocks in at 8'11". He is, and he's really funny. He's so on point and just like so. His delivery is incredible because you never see the punchline coming. That's what I love about him. So here to talk about his traumas and his jokes. Give it up for Sasha Guillaume.
Yay!
Hey,
You
Frank
know, I
and Mike.
almost introduced you as "It's Sasha Guillaume, son." That was one of his old bits. So.
Yeah, it's great when people remember you by your bits. So
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
If I hear milk duds one more time, I think I'm.
Yeah, I get that and umbrella. That's what I get a lot.
I don't know the umbrella one.
Yeah, It's the getting older one, but that's I'm not gonna get into it because it's.
Oh, all right.
You got to see me on stage.
And he is a sight to see on stage.
Yeah, I fill up the stage at least vertically, right?
So when's the next gig? Live in person?
I did last night in the city, Tribeca Comedy Lounge, and I have a show in Jersey City on the 16th, Wednesday, and that'll be fun. Yeah, just I've seen the Jersey City show, and I'm anticipating a rowdy young crowd, and hopefully it's fun. So we'll see. I'm not young anymore, so I don't know if I'll relate. I'm going to talk about being married and stuff. They're like, "What? What are you talking about? Get off the stage, old man."
How old are you, Sasha?
I'm also turning 45 in September.
Wow. It's amazing. Yeah. This morning.
Yeah, same age. I just my grays are here, so I shave and I'm pretty good.
I always thought you were older because you were taller. So
yeah, you're used to looking up at older people, right?
Yes. I literally looked up to you.
Right. Yeah, that's funny.
So is comedy your living, Sasha, or do you have a straight job?
I own my own businesses now. And
great.
Yeah, and it's when I started comedy, I was an architect, and I wasn't. I didn't care about the money. It was I always wanted to be an architect in 5th grade. That was my dream job, and then I found comedy. I was like, holy cow, I want to transition to this. And then my wife got pregnant, and it was like, oh, I'm not making any money, and I can't sustain this. So I kind of exited comedy for 14 years.
Whoa, you and Mike.
Yeah. And life responsibilities, being an adult, not being a dirtbag. I took the time, and what's frustrating to me is I apply the same energy and the lessons I've learned in my almost 9 years of doing comedy. No, it was about 6 years or so doing comedy. And I was a success in business. I was like, what if I just stayed in comedy? I could have, where would I have been? So now the family life is stable, ish. We'll talk about that. We'll judge that later. And I'm back now. So.
We got a lot of questions coming. Well, one person saying 3 different things coming in the chat. Let's show you. I love StreamYard. Look at what this shit could do. Kathy Britt said, well, it doesn't show you what she said. I take it back. I fucking hate it. I clicked the wrong button here.
Yeah, there it is.
Fell at suicide, Frank. Well, Kathy, he's still alive.
Yeah. Well, Kathy, I know what the barrel of the gun tastes like. I just didn't pull the trigger, because if I had pulled the trigger, it was loaded with federal hydroshock hollow points. There's no coming back from a hydroshock hollow point. Yeah.
Suicide fail.
Yeah. Loser.
All right, Kathy.
She says welcome, and then she says 45 black don't crack.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
You've always looked good, Sasha.
Yeah, thanks.
So
the confidence about that is it wanes. You're people tell you and you don't believe it, and I also had nothing to do with it.
Right.
Right. I came. My parents got together. I came out and I'm here. So I look great. I hate people who do that, who just rest on their looks. It's like,
oh, I thought you were saying you hate people who give you compliments.
No. Just it was funny. I used to go on stage, dressed up, looking nice early on, right? A couple funny bits here and there, and I was actually on a date, so I was more dressed up, right? Trying to look cool in front of, and Tracy Morgan was there, and he got so mad at me. For being, it's like, what are you doing? You don't do that. It's not about what you look like. It's the words. You're not gonna make it. I was like, fuck you, Trace. I was so mad. You know, and he didn't know, like that was my first introduction to him, but that's his personality anyway.
Tracy was not the best judge of character. So
No.
he once cursed out Gina Brion for doing good on stage.
Really? Yeah.
Tracy, come on, man.
Yeah, it's I don't judge comics by what I think about their act. I judge them by the crowd. If the crowd's laughing, you're funny. That's the goal, right? You're up there giving your story, your perspective. You know, if you're a hack, you're stealing stuff. All right, okay, but it still works for you. Like I know my stage presence is the one piece that I need to constantly work on. The writing, I'm fine. I'm not fine, but that's where I have most confidence. Like I always wanted to write to a point where I can just hand you my joke and you can read it and you'd laugh. That's my target, and then just keep working on the
I totally judge comics by their acts.
Yeah.
No, I'm a Sasha. I don't. I've got a friend who's in Philly, and he won 2 contests, one at Helium and one some other big comedy club there. And he does one-liners, and most of them came from the Catskills from 50 years ago. He just makes them personal, and I've seen video of his sets, and you know when you're doing one-liners, the laughs are coming just one right after another, and then he left the camera on a couple of times, and I watched some poor slub try to follow that. And it was, you know, the club owner doesn't care, you know. I mean, would Craig Shoemaker be working if anybody gave a damn about? She probably shouldn't have said that.
No, our reach is like 12 people, Frank. You're okay.
I've heard.
Allegedly.
Yeah, you know, the club owners aren't, you know, they're not, it's not, you're a comic. You're killing time while people drink. You're a liquor, as Rich Scheidner once said.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I started an open mic last week, and after the club owner, like, we got a good turnout. He was like, yeah, you know, use your looks and get the guys will like you, the girls will like you, get them to come. I'm like, you didn't even watch my act. You know, I'm trying to be the show side of show business, but obviously he's the business side. So I get it. Like you said, we're pushers. We're narcs.
Yeah, if we weren't there, there'd be, you know, like dwarf tossing or something.
Right.
That's a big thing. And you guys probably don't remember that, but that was a thing in the last century.
Yeah.
What was the saying? Dwarf crossing?
Dwarf crossing.
Yeah. Just
Velcro suits, and they had a Velcro wall. And
I remember when they used to run, and was that when they ran and bounced on the trampoline?
On the mini track.
Yeah.
And stuck to the wall.
Yeah, that always looked fun.
Wouldn't happen today, I don't think. But
it just be more inclusive. You just let all other strange people do it too. We can laugh at everybody. That's all.
So, what is your business? Is it an architecture business?
No. So when I was doing comedy and working as an architect, my mother and I were working on starting a home care agency.
Oh.
So we opened that, got an investor, and you know, went in. Just like in anything, you become successful at one, then the next things are easier. So then we opened the second home care agency. So the first one is Mrs. G Services. Right. The second one is Principal Home Care, which I have to say it's PHCDPAP because Principal Insurance wants to sue me for using the name. And then the last one is AFC Urgent Care. It's a franchise. This was the investor wanted to leverage my contacts in healthcare, and he just brought me on. He's like, I'll pay for it and I'll be your partner. I was like, yes, I'll do that. And so I'm an owner in a urgent care franchise as well.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got a friend who used to work in home health care, and sales. And the big problem was HR. It's finding people, A, to hire, and B, who would actually come to work.
Yeah. Yeah. Right now, post pandemic, it is one of the biggest concerns because, the incentives that they're giving, the federal benefits, additional, why go to work? And I get it. I'm not we're trying to do things to incentivize and get people to come back to work, but why would you? If you're making close to, and you can just sit at home and the schools are only partially open, the daycare is not back. Yeah, that's why they're not. If you were able to open the country up and get people to go to work safely, right? Well, healthcare, we want everybody. Hopefully, everybody takes the vaccine. But hey, what can I do? I'm an employer. If I say everybody has to be vaccinated, you're going to go to your competitor. If you're a person, right? So it really needs to be a federal mandate to take it off of us as employers requiring it.
Yeah.
Right.
Great.
Yeah. We can't be the bad guy because we're not going to get people.
And it's hard. You work for sick people, so it's got to be you do work for, but you also hire for sick people.
Right.
So you don't get the luxury to go, okay, you're not vaccinated.
Right.
Working with an 80-year-old with a COPD.
Right. It's the exact demographic that is most susceptible to this thing.
Yeah.
So there's insurance prices right now are just skyrocketing, and it's a lot. And it's a tough business, to be in the healthcare business because you're seeing people at their most vulnerable, and you have to get in a mindset of do your job and focus on that, so you're not you can't be emotionally invested. You have to separate that, because if you start breaking down, then you can't do the work, right? So you have to be emergency response type mentality to be able to be successful. And it's tough because the workers, we give them the grief counseling and things like that are available to them after, if a patient passes and things, because they're with the person more than their family at times.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very tough. And I when something happens, I hand write the letters to condolences and everything, and it's sometimes there's a stack that you have to, right?
Well, that's admirable of you, because I don't know most other home care agencies that go that extra level.
Yeah, we're old, right? So I'm not gonna tweet it out.
Hey guys, did you see? We were talking about Sasha was talking about the words doing the heavy lifting. In other words, you write the joke and it's funny no matter who delivers it. You hand them a note.
Right.
Buzz Sutherland says in the comments, I'm quite the opposite. My first agent, Joey Edmonds, my college agent as well for a while, used to always say, take Buzz's act, read it, you won't even smile, but watch him do it, and you won't be able to breathe. God, I miss Joey Edmonds. Yeah. And yeah, Buzz is like that. I've known comics like that, where the material, they're not splitting the atom,
Right.
but the way they sell it, like Buzz sells it.
Right. Right. It's interesting. Like I got into comedy just for comedy. And I don't know, Mike, if you had an acting background, or Frank, if you had, I just thought I want to be a club comic. The comic that everybody goes from town, goes through that town, and they see that. Oh, that's my goal. I want to be that guy. But you can't, like, if you want to perform in city, unfortunately, I'm from the New York City area, which is the destination.
Mm-hmm.
So, I didn't have an opportunity to be a club comic somewhere else.
When we were coming up, I remember saying there are some days when I wish I was a big fish in a small pond,
Mm-hmm.
and like a fish trying to survive in a big city.
Yeah.
The analogy broke up somewhere there, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, and Sasha, I hold the record, I think, for the longest nonstop comedy club road trip.
Wow, nice.
2,629 nights in a row, nonstop, no home.
Wow.
Just club to club to club.
Were you paying rent still somewhere? Because that's awful. Oh, well, then there you go. That's awesome.
No, and my wife came with me. Just came along for the ride.
Did you get an RV? I always wanted to do that. Get an RV, go cross country.
We never got an RV. We had a 4Runner, and it was, we had a fax machine and a microwave. And we moved into a hotel. We moved into the hotel. We kept threatening to get a camper or motorhome or something. That was our dream too, is a motorhome.
I'm so jealous, right? Like other people could hear that and be like, "That sounds awful." I'm like, "That sounds awesome."
The dream.
That sounds awesome.
Oh yeah, this is like 85 to 93. Wow. And I worked with Seinfeld and Dennis Miller and Foxworthy and Ron White and Bill Engvall and Rosie and Ellen, and they were just comics.
Just to sit in, I remember when just to be in the room, just be in the back and just watch. I'm the biggest fan. I love stand up.
Well, and back then, most of the week-long clubs had comedy condos, no hotels. So you didn't just work with everybody; you lived with them for a week.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that I've never done that, and I think I'm past the age. Like I'm gonna go in my pocket and just be like, I'll get my own. I'll use whatever money you're giving me. I'm gonna get a hotel. I can't. It's just the stories you hear about what happens in the condos. I'm like, no.
Oh God,
that's gross.
Oh yeah. Never eat the mayonnaise.
That is why I would do it. That is why.
Yeah, and once I got to be, I did 10 years of cruise work, and you're always working with other entertainers, but not comics. There's like a specialty act and a comic and a singer or a musician. Whereas at a comedy club, you're always hanging out in the green room with other comics, local comics, there that week. I miss that camaraderie.
Yeah.
Sasha, I'm glad. This is going to sound so messed up, so I'm probably not going to say it. But
say it. That's why we're here.
I'm glad someone died so we could reconnect.
Oh. Well, we know I didn't. So who?
I ran into Sasha at a funeral.
But did I see you at Monacy's show? Yeah, didn't I?
Yeah, we did, but we were both performing. There was a show going on. There was no room to talk and catch up.
Exactly. That's how our relationships are so weird.
Right, right. And so we were sitting in the back row of a funeral, and the rabbi was was telling this very long joke that made no sense to me. And after the punchline, a couple of people laughed, and I leaned over to Sasha and goes, "The setup was too long." I was just bored at that point.
You give him the light, Mike?
Get to it.
No, I think the dead guy gave him the light. Stand-up is weird. We make these friends, and we only become friends in the diner after the show, or in the back room waiting, or in the bar area. And by the time I was successful at stand-up, I was already sober. So I missed out on all the bar experiences because I was like, I don't want to go out drinking with people when all I'm having a Coke.
Right. And I guess the relationships I developed were in the open mics or outside on the sidewalk, because I really didn't drink and I didn't do drugs. And what I'm learning now is that's kind of how you make friends, right? Yeah. Drugs and alcohol that's lubricants to make friends.
And when I was coming up in the mid-80s and mid-90s, everybody was doing coke, and I didn't come up as fast. They were doing coke and they played golf, and I do neither. And oftentimes they would do coke with the owners and then play golf with the owner of the club and move up very quickly. Back in the day, some of the clubs would open a drawer at the end of the week, and they'd ask you want to be paid in green or what? And there were guys like John Fox, who between his coke bill and his bar bill, he owed the club money at the end of the week. I mean, hard partying, guys died of liver cancer. Bill Hicks, one of the Texas. I worked with Hicks a couple of times. and a couple of other Texas Outlaw comics, and they partied pretty hard.
Yeah, I can understand why people do coke. I've never done it, but the pressure of being an entrepreneur and what comedy does to you. I get it. I haven't done it, but I get it.
I love cocaine.
I just love the smell.
I do.
Yeah, I don't buy coke. I just buy this rich guy's boogers. Old jokes.
Give me a hooker's ass and a line.
Oh man.
No, I've never done coke off a hooker's ass, but
yeah.
Well, then you didn't do coke.
Yeah, and there was some when I started. There was some hardcore Frankie Bastille, I think.
I know that name. Why do I know?
I think famous because he told all the bookers he had cancer, was terminal. He wanted to play their club one more time. So they booked him. All the clubs booked him, for a year. And at the end of the year, he called them back and won another booking. And they said, "Wait a minute."
We should start a tour called the Cancer Tour. We'll say we have cancer. We'll kill.
Yeah. And year, what Frankie did was when he called back to get booked the second year, they go, "Wait a minute, I thought you were dying of cancer." Remission. He would actually, in a town, he would look at the obituaries. He had a white coat and a stethoscope. He would take a cab to some house where somebody had passed away of cancer.
Oh my God.
Knowing they had all kinds of kick-ass good drugs. He would say at a clipboard, he'd say, "I'm here from the county to collect the drugs to dispense to those don't have the money to buy." And in other comics in the cab, he comes back to the cab, he's got a box of pills, and he's going, "Need them, got them, need them, got them." He was an amazing, yeah. There's a booker named Sandy DePerna who got a call from a New York City booker. I can't think of the guy's name. But anyway, Frankie was down in some bad part of New York buying drugs, passed out next to a phone booth, an old phone booth.
Mm-hmm.
And came to long enough to give the drunk that was standing there money and a phone number. And the drunk said, "Look, you got to come get your friend. You got to come buy back your friend." The booker had to drive over, pick him up, pay the drunk for him, and take him home sober.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it was. Those were the days.
He sold himself for the high. You just perform a service that that's get on your knees and get your drugs and keep your. Yeah,
everybody has a price,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. By the way, Buzz Sullivan says in the condo, don't drink the half and half. Yeah, never, nothing where something could be mixed in a place where stomach's been.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to travel with your own safe, or it'll lock your suitcase.
Oh my God, that reminds me. You said lock. Yeah, I lived with Joe Rocha for a while.
Oh yeah, okay.
I took him like when he was homeless. For the 17th time, I took him in, and he started eating my food and wouldn't stop. The poor guy. And so I got a box and I locked my food and I went to work. And then that night I came home. He ripped into the box from me and ate all my food. And I'm like, "Joe, what are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, nothing, man. I'm sorry.
I'm going to show you."
One day I walked out of my bedroom and I look at him and he's on the futon in the living room, naked under a sheet. His balls are on my futon. I'm like, "Dude, could you not lay naked on the futon?" He's like, "What? I'm not naked." I'm like, "I could see your balls."
Too many comics have that story.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, like you have a group of comedians who just never evolve past high school. Well, I think the general population really doesn't. When you go to the offices and you're in the cubicles, it's like high school.
But I think stand-ups do it best, right?
It's like because they still do the they'll give you the wet willies and like, dude, like, come on, what are we doing?
Speaking of Rocha, like he was like Joe Rocha, Frank, for people out there who don't know, Joe died a few years ago, very unexpectedly. Like it wasn't doing well, went into the hospital and passed away the next day. So I say this with all the love I have for him and all the peanut butter he ate of mine. God bless. But like his one pet peeve is like I'm like a big kid, and his one pet peeve was don't touch his ear. Like you could not touch his ear. So whenever I would go to give him a wet willy, he would freak out. He would be like, what are you doing? I'm like, whoa, calm down, bro.
Yeah.
By the way, Buzz Sutherland said he wasn't talking about half and half the milk product. He was talking about half and half getting your pay. Half and carrots, half and below. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I thought he meant. And Kathy, it was smooth peanut butter. I hate crunchy.
Really?
Kathy Britt asked, crunchy or smooth? Do you only see Buzz's posts? I love this feature. You click it.
Yeah, I see Buzz, see Kathy.
It's like Romper Room. I see Buzz.
Yeah, Buzz, he had an amazing college act career, as I recall. He maybe even been college entertainer of the year. I don't. It sounds familiar. Yeah, he rocked it in college. I mean, I did okay, but not like Buzz. That kind of college success.
Yeah, I've only done a couple colleges. Again, it was just staying in the city and just.
I love doing colleges.
Yeah.
Like, they appreciated you so much more than city crowds. I mean, maybe not you because your jokes were actually funny, but for me,
well, I'll be honest.
You know, I got two good jokes and a limp. That's what I bring to the table.
Performing in like Times Square was I think the best I did, which made me think, hey, I should go on the road.
Did you bark?
Yeah, I did everything. And then when I stopped barking, my stage time just plummeted. It's you gotta weigh that. So you think, oh yeah, I'm killing on the barking thing, so I should graduate. Nope. You go right back down. It doesn't, some people propel. I used to bark with Nate Bargatze.
Yeah.
And then, he just, exploded, right? And then like the shows he was doing where I thought, we were, kind of mutual level, you grow, you're performing with people and you grow with them. And the guy wanted me to keep barking, and I was like, no, I want to transition. He was like, nope, not ready. Well, I was like, and then that was it, and he went his way, and I was scrounging for spots.
I barked for Bill Michaels, and I used to love barking for him because I would do 3 shows a night, 3 days a week. I'd get like 9 shows in a weekend. And one day I walked back to the club to get more flyers, and people were actually, there wasn't anyone to seat the people.
Right.
So they would go in and then leave. So
that's so funny.
I just started seating people, and he yelled at me. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm saving your audience.
Yeah, that's awful.
And then, so my role changed. I got to be in the house now. I was so excited. I was like, woo!
Go stand outside. You don't have to be on the corner.
Hey guys, I got to correct something. Buzz was actually, where was that? 16-time college comedian of the year. Did 3,766 schools.
Right.
1,700 core, I guess military core. 1,400 military shows, 407 in kill zones. Yeah, the guy's an animal.
That's awesome.
He takes a flashlight up his nose.
He's like, come on, Frank. He's like, we should have him on, Frank.
We should. And
stop. I don't know what happened when my Alexa turned on.
Guys, Kathy Bray wants to know what's barking.
Oh, but Sasha, you want to explain?
You work a corner and selling your soul.
No, you don't have sex, Kathy. You don't.
Barking is okay. You're the town barker, right? That you're hear ye, right? So you're on the corner and you're announcing the fact that there's a show at a place nearby, and you're giving them tickets or a flyer to go to the show. You get to perform if you're doing that.
I once was on the street barking, and like I when I thought someone could convert to an audience member, I was ruthless. So and some guy goes, dude, stop following me. I'm about to punch him. I'm like, okay. Guess you're not coming to the show.
It comes with the word bark. A barker, I think at the fair, they used to have guys stand outside. The one I remember is when I was a kid, they had a what they called a hoochie coochie show at the fair. These women in scanty outfits travel with the fair. Come on, boys, little Sheba. She walks, she talks, she crawls on the bed like a reptile. It all will make you rich, it all will make you poor. Come on, we'll make a man out of you, little Sheba.
Bill Michaels actually helped my career. I will tell you how. Like so I barked for him, and Mary Domino was on a lot of shows, and after the show, Mary Domino and I started walking and talking, and she lived in Staten Island near where I grew up. So we would ride the ferry together, and I used to love riding the bus with her because we'd be joking, and she'd go, "Oh my God, I just peed a little." And so that became my favorite line.
It's confidence building.
We walked towards past the Laugh Factory. It used to be on 42nd and she was like, let's go see. So we walked in and we were talking to the manager, and they started putting me up. And next thing I know, like my name's on the marquee. I got booked on Cringe Humor. Short Bus Comedy Tour called me. Like I got a lot out of that. And so, like I owe Bill Michaels everything. And he used to, it's funny, I ran into him on New Jersey Transit, and he's like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to see my girlfriend. I'm like, aren't you? And he goes, aren't you gay? I'm like, yeah, my mother's just as confused as you are.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Barking was fun, like fun-ish. Ish. Like I would in Times Square again, right? Where I was one of the top 2 barkers, and but I think I was. That's gonna be a credit. That's gonna be a credit.
Coming to the stage, best barker in New York.
But it was like, but I would get people. Like China, I'd be surrounded by Chinese people who just want to take pictures with me. They're like, "Oh, black guy." It was like, I was at the Elmo before Elmo, right?
Reminded them of Godzilla because of your height. Like it had nothing to do with your color. It was your height, man.
So
that was extremely racist. I'm sorry.
Whatever, dude. I didn't take it that way. If you did, you got a problem.
I'm worried about the Asian people.
That. Okay. All right. I can't speak to that.
Not you, man. We're friends. I don't care about you.
Well, guys, Buzz says he was the #1 barker. He didn't put that. And by the way, the 1,700 corporate gigs Buzz has done. I wonder if Buzz is retired. We should have him on the show, Mike. And
I just said that.
Yeah, because he's got stories. Dear God, I mean, working for Funny Bones. I think he started somewhere in St. Louis, maybe somewhere in the Midwest, Kansas City.
I'm sorry, Frank. I'm not letting you get a word in edgewise. Usually Frank starts talking. We named it the Funny Shrink Podcast so Frank could talk more and I'd still get the credit.
And I'm stepped up his game. He's been more proud this time with you, Sasha, than with anyone we've done before. So
yeah, that's all right. It's well, that's when you have history together. It's
right.
Yeah, it's easy to do so. So that's good.
So I'm sorry, Sasha, you were telling your Godzilla story.
Yeah, no, it's that. I think that's part of the reason why I would attract people to the show, right? So it was that kind of, and then I got asked to be in a porno.
Tell me that's in your act.
It was so I'm just standing there, I'm barking, and the guy just sneaks back. You want to be in a porno? I was like, what? What'd you say? It's like, you want to be in a porno? I was like, no. That was it. And like it's fun. Like it's funny. That's probably the second time I got in. Yeah, I got off stage. I at New York Comedy Club. These producers came to me and they were like, "Hey, come do." They booked me for this thing, and I was doing voiceover on a porn thing, like Girls Gone Wild, and I just tanked it. I did the worst job ever. It was like, they're not going to use this. I'm not like, there's I can't. My mom would kill me. And what, like, if I was successful, I'd be like a voiceover to, yeah. Guys would come to the show and get hard-ons. Just why am I excited? What's going on?
I know that voice.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Kathy Brent says, okay, so now I know that comedy is just one step above porno, pretty much.
Yeah,
nobody is porno. What are you talking about, Kathy?
Yeah,
Kathy is one of my oldest fans. Like she started following me when I was even before, like I was good at stand up.
Mm-hmm.
Like
when you look at the history of comedy, it was you're performing in strip clubs and
right.
and you hang out with strippers and ladies of the night. We're people of the night as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike. I didn't mean to take you back to a place.
I swallowed. It's okay. That's what she said.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, Leno's got a story about somebody asked him his worst shows. It was a strip club in Memphis called the Mine Shaft. He gets to the front door at the ticket booth or whatever, and the woman goes, "It's $5 or $10?" Well, Leno goes, "I'm a comic. I'm working tonight, but I just got to know why 5, why 10." Well, for $5 you get in. For $10 you get a miner's cap with a flashlight on the front end of it. And that's how they illuminated the strippers. You pointed your hat. And Leno said he knew he had a great joke when all the flashlights turned toward him and bobbed up and down. They're making him do jokes while women are stripping on stage.
Sharon booked me. Sharon Simon, we had her on the show. Sharon booked me for a strip club, a show at a strip club. And I took my wife with me, then fiance, because I don't trust myself around naked people. I really don't. Men, women, dogs, they gotta be covered. So we went, and she's looking at the strippers, and she goes, "I never realized I could be a stripper. I mean, look at their bodies." That is the best. That is the best.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. You can. Again, guys, we're forgiving.
We're easily amused. We're easily excited. We're easily amused.
Yeah. And at that point, guys can be guys in strip clubs. We can just ogle I like that body part. You're good. That's good for me.
Right.
But you have to have 42nd and 8th, right? I mean that. They didn't clean up New York that well when you were performing.
No. And I used to go to the strip clubs down there. I'd go do a show. So that place was great because it had porn, it had comedy, and it had AA meetings.
Right.
So all my needs were met in that one building.
Never have to go home.
Right. Here's what Buzz said. Well, Mike, that explains your food. Thank you, Buzz. Sasha, I try to keep these to 45 minutes because otherwise people won't watch them.
Yeah.
So, like we've exceeded the 45-minute mark. And
no problem.
I want to keep on talking because this is awesome. So, how can people find you? Let them know.
All right. Instagram, I am Sasha Guillaume. And I have the show on the 16th in Jersey City. You can find a flyer there. I'm going to do Sharon Simon's show at the Greenwich Comedy Club. I believe that's the 23rd. Mm-hmm. I'll post that as well. And I do have a website, sashaguillaume.com. Pandemic kind of kept me from updating much. I'm working on scripts and things. But I have some short stories that I've written that are actually pretty good. I want to do more of that. So you can go to my website, you can go to Instagram, Facebook, same thing, just my name, Sasha Guillaume. I always post
your last name for people.
I'm sorry, I thought okay. Guillaume is Guillaume. First name should be easy. It's Sasha, Sasha. It's like Robert Guillaume from Benton.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah.
Are you related?
No, I was going to use it though if I went to Hollywood. Definitely. Well, I'll ask for forgiveness after.
Right.
But yeah.
All right. It's been awesome having you. I'm glad we got a chance.
I didn't use it. I've had some notes. I didn't use any of it.
Oh, you're so prepared. You're so not like me. I love it.
Yeah.
Read one of your notes, man.
Oh no, I was going to talk about the like I don't believe in therapy, right? Like I just figured I'd be honest to myself, but then I've gone to therapists and I lied to them. So I'm not gonna. So so that would lead into other things.
And then you're like, this therapist sucks.
Yeah, right.
I don't know who you are.
Right. All
right, awesome. I'm glad we got a chance to catch up. I look forward to seeing you soon. I'm gonna end the broadcast. Don't go anywhere. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Buzz. Bye, Kath.